Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. Welcome to another Sunday morning Virch service. Happy to have you here. Woke up this morning again with my mind stayed on spirit. Did you? Praying and praising with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking, dancing and singing with my mind stayed on spirit. Trying to live every single moment of every day that way. But the beautiful thing I've come to figure out and understand is that Spirit really likes to have us visit. It likes to have us remember. I think that's why it gave us such a good forgetter. To forget that we're always involved in this dance with the divine. That we can always, at any time, morning, afternoon, or evening, put our mind on Spirit. Welcome to this morning's service. We got a good thing coming for you. New singing artists this week, Delene St. Clair and Barry Cahill from up in the valley, in the High Desert Valley area. They'll be here to sing. Reverend Maggie, our practitioner of the day. Stick around for the end of service, a special musical treat. We'll get to also do a little support for one of the singers who's always coming to bring us her very best whenever she sings with us. That's Patricia Bahia, so stand by for that at the end of the service. And I'm also here with my co-pilot and background producer, Reverend Johanna, who is manning the Facebook, keeping up with the comings and goings, which is today's talk, comings and goings. So whatever you might want to share during the service, she's watching that. She's going to put in the quotes for the day. And if you have a prayer request that you want to have spoken to in the revealing prayer later in the service, please feel free to put that in there. And also, she harvests all the prayer requests and gives them out to our EAT Corps throughout the week so that we can stay connected together in every way, even in those moments of prayer where we're moving to reveal the healing activity and the revealing truth of our lives when sometimes the circumstances feel less than perfect. It's all about being together in community. That's why we have a very strong mission and vision statement that allows us to not only know who we are and what we do, but why we do it and from what direction that we do it. Let's do our vision and our mission statement right here. And right now, here it is. We're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do.
Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Burt behind this mask. And I'm so excited because John Sheely gets to do the announcements. And he's right here. And I'm at a safe distance from him. But then he will be doing the announcements. Very exciting to have him be part of Virch. Okay, John. We're ready to hear the announcements. You're part of Virch. Isn't it exciting?
It's extremely exciting. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Reverend Stephen. And thank you for the congregation, for allowing me to provide these announcements on the 29th of November, 2020. Good morning. As I said before, I'm John Sheely. And here's what we do. This week, as well as every week, we have announcements. And you must remember, and I'm sure everyone does, that Christmas is only less than a month away. But today, we're looking forward to another Wednesday night experience featuring the Simi Community Salon. This month's theme for contemplation and artistic sharing is joy. The meeting ID to participate in the community salon is 832-8701-2651. There's no password. The evening facilitator, the newly married Dorothy Morgan, will let you in after you enter through the waiting room. Now, to the things we offer each week for community connection. Wednesday at 5:30, join Debbie Jarvis for Yoga with Debbie, a workout for your mind, body, and soul. Here's the Zoom information for yoga. The meeting ID, 878-5693-8671, and the passcode is 253932. For families with children, we have Play and Learn with Dr. Susan, which is available on YouTube. Dr. Susan also streams live on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. through the CSL CME website. And Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, catch Reverend Stephen from Practicing Oneness at 1, streaming live from his personal Facebook page. You're invited to reach out to our center's practitioners and ministers at any time for emotional and spiritual support. Contact them for prayer or any questions by visiting center's website. Look for practitioners. You can call the office to leave your prayer request, and you can type your request into the FB chat during the service. All of our online services are uploaded to YouTube. Search CSL Simi Valley. Tell your friends and associates. A link to our online archives is also easy to find on our website's homepage. Welcome to all of you viewing from wherever you are, be it Colorado, Minnesota, South Carolina, France, or right around the corner. We're so grateful that you have chosen to spend time with us this morning.
Good job, John. I'm sure everyone is so happy to see your face, too. Thanks for doing the announcements.
My pleasure.
I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm rolling with God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning, Simi Valley. I hope you had a safe and very happy holiday. I'm going to read the affirmation this morning, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat it with me. I am cheerful on both ends of the law that circulates, happy to give and receive. That's me. Now, please read it with me. I am cheerful on both ends of the law that circulates, to give and receive. That's me. The reading today is from Ernest Holmes. It's called The Law of Giving and Receiving. Everything in nature moves in circles. What goes out must come back. Unless the seed is sown, it cannot bear fruit. Trust must be planting time for every harvest. Who gives all receives all. Who refuses to give limits the possibility of the greater good returning to them. Love and you will be loved. Extend joy and you will become more joyful. The ancient Talmud said, God will doubly guide the already guided. And Jesus the Great said, if you give, you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full measure, pressed down, shaken together to make more room, and running over. Whatever measure you use in giving, large or small, it will be used to measure what is given back to you. We do not give because God needs the gift, but because giving increases broadens and deepens the life of the giver. Nor shall we give from the standpoint of duty. The universe refuses to bargain with us. It already has given us everything it has, but it also has provided the gift of life can be received in fullness only through what it flows through us. How wonderful is this exact balance which God and nature keep. How perfect is the law of good, and how glorious the opportunity to join with the infinite giver in giving of the self to the joy of life. So let's treat, shall we? Let's take a deep breath and let it go. Let's come into this moment. We know right here and right now that God is all there is, and knowing this, we awaken and strengthen that place within us that is in awe of everything that we receive and everything that we are able to give. There is only one source, and that is God. We give freely without the expectation of getting anything back. We open to receive the gifts and the wonderment of God, for this is our right, our birthright right here and now. So let go of attachment. I let go of everything and anything that holds me down. And I now soar with the knowingness that giving and receiving is mine, completely, totally, and wholly right here and now. I am open to it. I enjoy it. I love the feeling of being able to give freely. And I totally and completely let go right here and right now. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing only truth. And that truth is all there is. And together we sing, and so it is.
Good morning, CSL Simi Valley.
We are so happy to be with you this morning. We are Cahill and Deline from Valley Center, California. We've got some great music for you this morning.
And maybe one of these days soon we'll actually be there with you.
Yeah. Here's the bass. Birds in the trees sing so sweetly. I've come here again for calm and serenity. Just open my senses and feel the earth's heart. I connect with this place and serendipity, 'cause I'm listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that have found me. The world has greater secrets than I could even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving as I'm listening. Words that I hear are not all that there is. There's so much more left unspoken. Now I will listen from my heart to yours, to realize our lives in synchronicity. 'Cause I'm listening to all there is around me. I'm listening to escape the thoughts that have found me. The world has greater secrets than I could even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving, 'cause I'm listening. listening to escape the thoughts that found me. The world has greatest secrets, and I can even imagine I'm learning and growing and loving. As I'm listening to all there is around me, I'm listening to escape the thoughts that have found me. The world has greatest secrets that I can't even imagine. I'm learning and growing and loving as I'm listening. And I'm listening. And I'm listening.
It's that time again for the GAP meditation, God Awareness Place. It's 3 minutes. It just goes very quickly. All you need to do is breathe. And you can say the mantra to yourself, God is all there is. God is all there is. I'll keep the time. And I'll be back in 3 minutes. Hope that felt as good to you as it did to me. Meditation is not hard. You can just take a deep breath and you can use that as a meditation. Get up in the morning and just Say thank you, God, for this day. Use a mantra like God is all there is while you're brushing your teeth or taking a shower. It doesn't take much to meditate. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and know that I love you. Namaste.
Well, all right. This next song is from our CD, Songs for Humanity. It's one that we wrote. And it talks about that thing that we all have that's unique to us. What gift do we have to give to the world to help uplift everyone? This is called What Have You Got to Give?
Singing and dancing is allowed.
Look inside you, what do you see? Gift you got to give the world to set it free. Listen to you now, hear what you say. You're asking just what have I got to give away. Well, maybe it's a new invention, or a book that just won't wait. For all your good intention, won't put it on the plate. What have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give?
Look around you, what do you see? A world in need of so much love for you and me. Listen to yourself, what's your excuse? You say one man can change the world, so what's the use? What about Mother Teresa or John F. Kennedy? What about Mahatma Gandhi? But what about you and me? Look above you, what do you know? Heaven at our fingertips, the world needs to be
So
shown.
listen deeply now to that inner voice. Rise up to the calling now, it's your choice. 'Cause maybe you will be the person who set that prisoner straight upon the path to truth and freedom. Come on, don't make him wait. What have you got to give? 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 And are you positive? What have you got to give? Real good to give now. Look inside yourself, you can do yourself, and you'll find you got something really great to give the world. But I've got to give. What have you got to give? Inside your soul, what have you got to give? What have you got to give? What have you got to give?
I like it. What have you got to give? What have you got to give? They're right. Dancing is optional, but it's hard not to dance to that tune. Thank you, Cahill and Deline, for being with us. It's so good to have you both joining our service this morning. The song's wonderful. The prayer from Maggie's meditation, all of it just fantastic. Really, really, really good. Whew. It's all about coming and going. That's the talk today. Coming and going. I want to share that with you. And, what came to me as I was working on this talk idea is how fast 2020 is coming to an end, how long it took it, how long it was going along, and how much it keeps coming. It's just amazing that the challenges that this year has brought us, this year came in because of its acronym, because of its identification with Vision 2020. There were such hopes. There was so much vision of what we were going to see. Who knew that we would see our four walls until we were tired of seeing them, until we were going stir crazy, until we wanted to stop coming home and start going someplace else. This coming and going has just been an amazing process. And as we come toward the end of the year, what is showing up are those end of year lists that start happening. And one of the ones that's compiled each year is the Oxford group, the dictionary people. They come up with the word of the year, and they've been looking at this year, and it's been a very interesting year when it comes to words as we talk about coming and going. What has not been happening this year are the kind of portmanteau words. Those are words that are blended together, words like bromance or broflake or mansplaining that have been last few years the kind of words that have come into play. This year it's been like Blur's Day. Yeah, Blur's Day. Like yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Blur's Day. They're all running together, right? Or, here's one that they also came up with was COVIDiots. Have you heard about COVIDiots? I guess these are people who are not following guideline rules or just think they're doing kind of crazy stuff, so they're COVIDiots. And then there's doom scrolling, where you're just looking along and you're just seeing one sad story after another, and you just want to throw your electronic device out the window and just stay off of all social media for a while. But what's really been interesting by the Oxford group about what's been coming up this year and has been going by us this so much has been the way words have been used. And one thing that happened this year was the word coronavirus. Coronavirus became so frequently used that it outdistanced the use of the word time. And we talk about time all the time. We're thinking about what time is it and all that stuff. Can you imagine how many times they've just said time in this sentence? How many times you said time in your day? Coronavirus is a more frequently used word than time this year. But then some other words came really up on the list, kind of died down through time, but they've been very present through the list. Black Lives Matter. Very big phrase this year. Juneteenth, very big phrase this year. Now, earlier in the year, the word that was trending looked like it was going to be the word was impeached, but then coronavirus flew over that one. Then there's another one, allyship. Allyship has been showing up. And they found an interesting, I know this is tangential, but this is about coming and going in trends, right? And one of the things they saw that happened was the way the word remote has been used. Previously, remote island, remote control, hand me the remote, honey, remote village, remote town, but no, it's remote work, remote working, remote learning. Remote has taken on a whole new meaning this year. So I just wanted to share some of the lists. There'll be more lists, and I'll probably come up with some more lists as we get toward the end of the year. But this is kind of the stuff that's been coming and going this year. And the coming home, the being at home has really put us into a place of being forced to see into ourselves more than we've ever imagined before. That vision, the 2020 vision that we had for the year has really been an internal vision of who and what we're all about. As a person individually, as a nation collectively, as a culture socially, in terms of our equity expressions, in terms of our fairness doctrines around the world, not fairness doctrine as in, which would be nice to put the fairness doctrine back into play for broadcasting, but fairness in terms of our ideals and how those ideals are applied. It really has forced us to see some of the vulnerabilities in our systems and the vulnerabilities in ourselves. In many ways, 2020, in my opinion, has been a year where we have been self-consumed, forced to look inside. But again, selfishness sometimes have a bad rap. To look at the self can be very healing. It's been difficult sometimes to maintain our space in this time. It's been shifting our temperaments in a lot of ways, but it also gives us that chance to look at ourselves and to look at others. And also, in that moments of introspection and contemplation, to tune into the divine, to find and express and experience how lovable we each are, how worthy we are, to step into the divine power of which we are part. That divine power that keeps coming and keeps going and never stops. We're a part of it. But as Dr. Holmes has written, one of the things Dr. Holmes loved to do was to teach. And he had invitational classes, and one of them was on a Tuesday night. This was way back in 1918. He was doing these metaphysical classes, teaching on metaphysics. And what he talked about in that class was helping people to move into that space where they found their lovableness, where they found their worthiness, where they found their faith and their strength and their self-value that allowed them to tap into this divine power, to know that we are worthy, and I know that we are. We all are worthy of tapping into the divine power and using that power to the best of our abilities to bring out the most wonderful experience of life we possibly do. But what Dr. Holmes had noticed is that, here he says this, I love this, he says that we are too little, too picayunish, too personal, too full of those nasty little things that we think of ourselves and others. Are we? Do you find that in your life? That we're thinking about the nasty things we think about others so often. That we are small-minded, picayunish. That we see ourselves little. That we have shrunken from the power that is within us. And we have that power. You have that power. You are part of a holy experience of life that includes all wholeness. And this divine power has given us two very strong guiding principles that we can use to outpicture our life. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it, as Dr. Holmes says. And that power is love, and that way of using that power is through the law. See, we need to step into, and I know you can do it, to come into our God-given power and to go to work in our lives with the law. See, using the law, and not an empty kind of using the law. It's so easy to say these phrases, and to just, but to not put meat in them, Even if it's veggie meat, Beyond Burger meat, which is not that bad, but if you want to, you gotta put the power in the words and consciously understand. Because see, the law, as we describe it in the science of mind, works in reciprocal action to our beliefs, and because the law cannot not work, it's always working. And if it appears that it's not working, it works by that appearance. When you doubt the ability of the law to demonstrate whatever good you're calling for in your life, the law feels the weight of what you believe. And if the weight of what you believe is the doubt, then the law works by not working. You see, Dr. Holmes says very clearly, you must feel that beyond your word there is an infinite power, an intelligence that is causation. It is right out and into it. You must feel that beyond your word there is an infinite power and intelligence that is causation. It is right out and into it. What is he talking about? Right out. Sometimes he uses these words, right out and into it. What is that all about? What does out and into it mean here? See, there's this feeling that you have that beyond the word I speak, there's an infinite power listening and hearing that word. And right out. My word goes right out and into that power. It's coming out of me. See, this is the coming and going. It's coming out of me, and it's going right into that divine power. And here's the really crazy part, because it's always working in circles, you see. We are that divine power. We are God expressed. It's not only coming out of me and going into that divine power, but it's coming out of that divine power and going into me. And it's going back and forth, you see. We are the giver and the receiver and the receiver and the giver. It goes in both directions. We are the action of God at work. Therefore, we must have strength and understanding and not speak our words empty? Yes. Not speak our word with emptiness. We need to go for what we know. See, we can all say it's all good, it's all God, it's all easy. That's easy. But it's the rubber meets the road. We are called to practice what we know by embodying the belief and realizing the truth of what we say. See, metaphysical results do not happen unless you know something. I don't mean know something. I mean know something so that you can do something, unless you come from a wholeness so that you can go into wholeness. You see, Dr. Holmes says, it is not enough for you and me to sit down and say electricity is, and electricity is wonderful, and it is illuminating, unless you do something with that. See, it's great to know that we have this power, but we must do something with the power. And the doing begins with the believing. The key to demonstrating is believing before we receive. Even if it's not there. You've heard the phrase, act as if, believe as if as well. You know, we have to ought to know before we sought, right? We ought to know it's there before we seek it out. It is done unto you as you believe, as the great way shower taught us. I'm thinking about this story that I heard of. There's a lion and a tiger that come out of the savannah, out of the grasses, from different directions toward the only pond in the area. And they come to the pond and they look at each other and they're about to fight because they want to take a drink. They're both thirsty and only one can take a drink at a time because, you know, a lion's tough and a tiger's tough and one's tougher and one's the toughest, and they're going to keep fighting until they figure it out. And they're about to battle it out, and they're rounding each other, and they're looking, and they're sizing each other up. And as they're sizing each other up, they feel shadows overhead coming down over them. And they look up, and there's vultures overhead. Now you see, they've come to the drink, they've come to the pond so they can go get a drink, right? But here they are, coming to realize that if they go at it with each other, the vultures are already ready. They know what's going to happen. My next meal is showing up. My next meal is showing up when these two guys battle it out to the death. So they decide, I think we can both take a drink or we're going to die. You know, they came to drink. They knew it was there. And they came to a solution that did not actually look like the result they were thinking about. This is key to when we're using the power of presence. When we know what we know and realize it and believe it, the reality that our experience may show up as a pond with a competing force at the pond. It may not look like what you asked for. I want a drink, but there's the tiger and you're the lion and you don't want to fight it out. That means that we have to work with what is delivered into our life to bring about the good that we experience. It may be that we're on the verge of it. We're showing the expression of it. You know, we have to be very, very open in our expression when we allow ourselves. This is why we talk about not outlining, not saying this is exactly, I don't want to have a red car. I think I've told you the story about the woman who went to a practitioner and she wanted to get a car. She needed a car. The practitioner said, why do you need the car? She says, I need the car because I keep missing the bus and getting late to work. And sometimes the bus is late and I don't get there on time. And my boss is going to fire me if I don't get to work on time. And I really need to have a car. And the practitioner kept drilling it down and says, but what else do you need the car for? He says, I just needed to get to work. So in reality, what you want to do is you want to get to work on time. Yes, I just want to be, because you want to be responsible. Yes, I want to be responsible because you have integrity. Yes, because I have integrity. Okay. Pray for the responsible integrity result and guidance for how to make that reality in her life. A couple weeks later, the woman was at the water cooler and saw on the bulletin board there that someone who was renting an apartment. She inquired about the apartment for rent. Turned out the apartment was a block away from work. It was cheaper than where she was already living. She was able to move into the apartment, save some money, walk to work every day, didn't need a car, started banking some bankroll for the future. When we know and embody what we want, it may not show up the way we want it to show up. It may show up as competing forces looking at the same outcome, and you may have to learn how to share. It may show up as not the car, but the place to live that puts you closer to work. We have to stay cheerful when we're practicing the law of circulation, when we're practicing the law of good. And we have so many opportunities to see how this flow, this coming and going is always working in our lives. I mean, you can look at the universe and see how the planets are circulating in their orbits. We can look at nature and see how the seasons come and go. We can look at the clock and see how the hand goes around the clock, or the numbers keep going by and coming back again and coming back again, or the tides that go in and out, the moon that waxes and wanes. Everywhere we look, we can see this action of coming and going. So we are just called to step in to that coming and in to that going. To plant our seeds so we can receive the fruit. We talked about this month, we talked about getting charged, being fully powered up, and being charged with ideas. Now we have to give ourselves over and go into the belief system and come to the realization that it is time to believe and to act and to trust, to be a bat, to believe in the power, in the presence that we come into, to trust that when we go there for action, that we are coming to the right place and we will receive the good that we're looking for. And when we have this as an understanding, and we know that it's not willpower, but it is the will of the divine that is working for us, we can be cheerful in this and take a break and practice the law of circulation with ease because we know it's reliable. You see, circuits must complete themselves. If the circuit does not complete themselves, congestion results and things come to a stop. Look at traffic. You're driving down the freeway and somebody has a mishap or a bunch of ducks and their mom are crossing the freeway and traffic backs up and it comes to a stop. It's not until the congestion is removed that the traffic can then flow again, right? Well, that same principle is working in our lives. If our belief system become the ducks that are blocking the flow of divine good in our life, we're going to come to a congestion and stop. We're seeing it happen in our healthcare system with COVID going over the top, that hospitals look like they're going to come to a stop because they won't be able to serve the people because there's just too many people. But when we can go to that divine presence and capture an idea bigger than the one we're holding in our head right now, we can come to the divine possibilities and go toward those solutions. We can give ourselves fully over to the divine. Wow. That's when the magic hits. Feels like magic, but it's really just the action and the workings of the law. Dr. Holmes says this. I love this one here. He says, and this is what Maggie talked about in her reading at the top of the service. Who gives all receives all. Who refuses to give limits the possibility of the greater good coming to him. Now, in our material expression of life, it's easy to see a quote like this. Who gives all receives all, and think, what is Reverend Stephen saying there? I got to give all my stuff away? No. I mean, if you want to, go for it. And the church is happy to take 10% as a tithe. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, and I think Dr. Holmes is talking about, who gives all himself, herself, who gives all in belief, who gives all in embodiment, who gives all to the idea that they are holding in mind, receives all. But if you refuse to give all, if you refuse to give your full understanding, if you refuse to give your full belief, if you refuse to give your full trust, if you refuse to give your full action into this power of law that's coming and going into our lives on a regular basis, that's going to limit the possibility of the greater good returning, you see. It's not a thing that we're talking about giving. It's a belief system we're talking about giving. It's a thought process we're talking about giving. It's consciousness we're talking about giving. We're talking about being persistent in the endeavor. And doing that from an even-keeled place, from an even-tempered place. Basically, we're saying, be happy, right? Be happy. Be in the flow. Be in the expression of happenings. I think, happy, happenstance, and happening. All of them carry that, and mishap carry that same root, that hap. That being in action now. If we can be grateful in the action that is happening now, however it may look, we know that we're coming into our good. If we can get going with the flow, we'll be coming into our good. You see, the consciousness that receives life's fullness does so from this perspective I'm talking about. It comes to us as we are deeply involved in the belief system that we hold. And then the law goes about bringing that into our experience. That's how it works. One of the things that I really enjoy about reading Dr. Holmes's talks, a lot of his books are his thoughts and his theories written down. But many of them are also his talks that have been transcribed. And when he was speaking, he was, I think, at his best. And in these talks, he displays a level of Well, I spoke a few weeks ago about how much of his patriotism was showing in his talks. Also, what shows in his talks is his level of optimism measured by what I feel is an appropriate amount of realism. He's not with, his eyes are in the sky. He's floating toward the highest horizon. He's living in the upper room of consciousness, but at the same time, his feet are grounded in the earth, right? And that's the place where we can also be. And I know that we have the capacity to do that. We do it on a regular basis. I see it. I witness it in each and every one of you when we talk, when we have conversations, when we're in prayer together, when we're in communion together, when we're Facebooking or messaging together or just texting with each other. I can see the space that we all have for vision, for 2020 vision beyond the 2020 we're living in. And I can see the groundedness that we hold to our divine principles. And this is how Dr. Holmes describes it. He's talking about our planet. This earth is beautiful. It is lovely. It is bountiful. That's the optimism. Yet, here's the realism. Yet we are in the midst of plenty. Yet, here we are in the midst of plenty, starving to death. In the midst of harmony, yet miserable and suffering. I bring this near the end of my talk on purpose. What I've been holding in mind, I'm working this whole talk as a treatment. What I've been holding in mind is that there's a one divine presence. That's what we talked about at the beginning. There's a power and a presence that we can come to and unify with. That's the middle part of the talk. Then we can realize our good, right? And then we can stay happy and be grateful. So those are the steps. Recognition, the divine presence. The unification with that divine presence, that we come into the power that we're a part of, that we are reciprocally connected to. That we realize our good, the realization step, that we realize our good, that we embody it, that we demonstrate our good by practicing just as we see nature doing what it does, so that we receive. And we do it cheerfully, gratefully, in thanksgiving. Right? Then we release it as we come into, and here we're going to the end, as we in the treatment, the release step. You see, the release step comes after all the things we say, as we come into our bigness, as we move away from our picky-unishness, from our small-mindedness, and see our bigness, and know that this power and this presence that we are using will respond to us as we have responded to it. So when we do that, when we come to the place of this, let's go back to it. We come to the place of this beautiful, lovely, bountiful earth, filled with plenty and harmony available to all, that we know we can use these powers to move us away from not just the physical starving to death, but the emotional starving to death, the social starving to death, the limitations, the things that are pulling us down. We have the bountiful awareness to pull ourselves away from, to end misery and suffering for all, as we step into the holiness that you are in. We are all whole, meaning we are each holy. As these beliefs, as these words that we've shared today together land on your heart and settle on your mind, put them into practice is the invitation. Put them into practice. Give yourself chances to go into the Spirit and make this stuff work for you. And in do so, when the going into this area gets a little tough, and the coming is ones of that smallness, that, I'm not doing it right. That's the time when we don't condemn, but we forgive ourselves. And then we persevere, and we step into it a little bit more. And we do like the circles of nature tell us. We keep coming and keep going to Spirit to allow it to bring our good into our life. Join with me now as we say our affirmation today. I am cheerful on both ends of the law that circulates, happy to give and to receive. That's me. One more time. I am cheerful on both ends of the law that circulates, happy to give and to receive. That's me. And And that brings us now to our time for healing prayer. And I'm going to go over to my co-producer, Johanna. Do I see where there's some prayer requests that came through? Okay, so if you have some that come a little bit later, do put them in. We're still monitoring all of that, and we will share them with you later. Okay, so let's go now. Our revealing prayer. There is a divine presence, a supreme wholeness, a perfection that is existing seemingly beyond our comprehension, yet as we step into this moment and unify with it, we are able to comprehend it all. And a download of exactly what we need to do, how we need to do it, when to do it, and where to do it arrives in our consciousness with ease and grace. This is what happens when we unify with the divine that is always coming to us and always allowing us to go to it. So as we receive the word of Spirit in this moment, I'm knowing that each and every person here witnessing our service today, be they members, visitors, family, friends, or just the curious, receive exactly what is necessary for the most joyous experience of life unfolding for each and every one. I know this is the way that it works, and I empower each of us to step more deeply into our belief systems, to shed away those beliefs that no longer serve us, and to deepen into those that bring about more harmony, less suffering, more bountifulness, more abundance, more plenty. See, there's enough of everything in infinity. Therefore, we do not diminish anyone by accepting all the good that is ours to hold in consciousness. So we step into that good right here and right now. And it shows up as divine right action, as peace and joy, as perfect use of our talents, as the right remuneration for all that we do, for the nudges and the pushes and the inspirations of Spirit that intuit to us exactly where to go, when to go, and how to go there. This is happening here and now, in this moment. Wait for it. Listen for it. Feel it. Reveal it. And make it so as we gratefully release this prayer into that perfect law that already understands and knows and stands ready to deliver here and now. And so it is. Thank you for the opportunity to pray with you today. Thank you for the opportunity to share some concepts and some ideas that have come to me this week. I look forward to seeing what comes up in the next week through Practicing Oneness at One and through our service next weekend. We've got this week the Story Salon, the Community Salon. It's happening with Reverend Johanna and Dorothy. We'll be both facilitating this week, so definitely come on out that for Wednesday night. And let's go back now. More music from Deline and Cahill. Here they go.
You are a miracle. You are a miracle, my friend. You are a miracle, and you can make it to the end. You are a gift of God. You are a glowing beam of light. You are a gift of God, and you can make it through the night. Others, fear not, for they're your sisters and your brothers. You are a shining star. You are a light for everyone. You are a shining star, and you're as brilliant as the sun. You are a miracle. The world was waiting for your birth. Now let your light stream out and spread it all around the earth. Go forth and share your love with all the others. Fear not, for they're your are the only one like you. You are a miracle, and there is one thing you must do. Let all your love go free. Have faith and let it be released. Let all your love go free and spread the healing light of peace. Go forth and share your love with all the others. Fear not, for they're your sisters and your brothers. You are a miracle. I am a miracle. We are a miracle, my friend.
The spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath.
It's now time for our pledge. Join me now. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley now. Divine love is victorious.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I am one in the spirit around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I trust in God.
I am so grateful for all our bounty today. So let's come together in prayer, shall we? Knowing that God moves in and through this center and through everyone here on this live serve, this virtue. We are so grateful for everyone, for the bounty that we have received, and know that it keeps and continues to grow. It moves forward and moves the center forward. We are together no matter where we are. We are all one in heart and soul. So I'm grateful for this money that has come in. I'm grateful for the opportunity for us to keep the lights on when we get back, to know that there will be a place for us when we come together again in person. Just take a deep breath. Knowing this truth, God is all there is. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing as we give, we receive. And it just keeps continuing and continuing and continuing. And together we say, and so it is.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. So nice to be with you every week. Thank you for being here and as a community, uplift all of us. So this is the time for our recap. The title of the talk was Coming and Going. So let's take a deep breath first. Maybe shake the body a little bit. Just get settled again. Just once more. Open your heart and let it sink in. Because you are holy, holy, lovable and worthy. Powerful and able to use that power. Coming to that power, you will not be denied your goods. But you must come ready to work with the law, which cannot not work. It works as you go for what you know. It's not enough to say, it's all good. You must know it, believe it to receive it. You complete the circuit when you give yourself to your beliefs, take action, and trust the results. Talking about a total acceptance of the power and presence as working in your life. You are big. Step into your bigness. You are able. It's your divine birthright. You are called to express harmony and abundance, to end suffering and misery, using your power to come to spirit and get your good going in your life. And from this knowingness, we step into a gratitude practice. So again, let's take a deep breath and just close your eyes and thank yourself. You are holy, holy, lovable and worthy. Thank yourself for showing up for the service, for carving out this time, and do the Science of Mind spiritual practices. And then thank each and every person in the community. Because without a community, there wouldn't be a Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. So we thank each and every person for their contribution. And then we thank the Board of Trustees of CSL Simi Valley, the governing members, that is the community. We thank the office staff and volunteers. And then we thank the people who appeared in the service today. So good to see everybody. Kathy Bird and John Sheely, Deline St. Clair and Barry Cahill, Reverend Maggie, Patricia Bahia, who we will be seeing shortly, T. Michael Rambo, Sherry Deeds and the Soul Purpose Band, and of course, Reverend Stephen Rambo. And then take another deep breath and bring it back to yourself. And open your eyes if you had them closed. Thank you, everybody.
And always want to do a thank you to Reverend Johanna for her support of the service, or her support that she gives me on a daily basis, and for the time that we get to spend together with Kiki, our lovely little new kitty. All right, so I'm going to play a tune in a moment. We'll do our benediction, and then after that, I'm going to play a tune from Patricia Bahia. It's something new. She's played it for us in our service, but she's got a new release of it. It's a sing-along. I think you're going to love it. And she's got a request. If you could, after the service, go to YouTube and subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's got a purpose behind that, and I'll let her describe it. You can personal messenger to her, and she'll tell you all about that. But, you know, she's been so helpful to us, and we wanted to help her out. So check out the video, and then afterwards, search her name on YouTube and subscribe to her YouTube channel. All right, let's do our closing benediction. Here it is. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
People shouting, shouting like they got the answer. Louder and louder now, I'm drowning in a sea of anger. Quick to judge, pass the blame, assign the labels. Wish we'd all stop acting like we're strangers. If we could see underneath, we are one family. And it don't matter where you come from. Every heart beats to the rhythm of one love. One love, one love. Every heart beats to the rhythm of one love. Every heart beats to the rhythm of one love. What if we could rise above division, look for the good, and take the time to really listen to everybody, every voice, and every color. Give love 'cause we were made to love each other. And even if we disagree, we are one family. And it don't matter where you come from. Every heart beats to the rhythm of one love. One love, one love. Every heart beats to the rhythm of one love. Beats to the rhythm. Every heart beats to the rhythm.